Welcome to episode 17 of the Scaling Up podcast. Just a reminder to subscribe if you haven't yet already. If you're watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, what are you even doing? And also a reminder that we read all $5 and up super thanks at the end of every episode. So at the end of this episode, you'll see exactly how that works. But just a quick reminder before we get into things. And yeah, new look for me. First things first.
Wait, I'm pretty sure I saw you working at Ralph's earlier.
Yeah, I'm actually the local district manager.
That was you?
At Ralph's, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was the guy who was like, sir, there's no filming.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were doing a prank, and you told us.
I switched sides.
Yeah.
Now that I look like this, I'm just the local district manager at every Costco. Who just
did a few steroid cycles in his day.
Yeah. That's the only thing that like leaves any aura left. Like once I shaved my beard, like we already talked about, that was like 95% aura gone. And then the mustache is the last little bit that I had left, and that's gone now too. I was probably more sad about shaving the mustache, which I did just before the podcast actually. I was probably more sad about shaving the mustache off than the beard. I ended up liking the mustache a lot more than I thought.
So you say creep aura is better than no aura at all?
Creep aura.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't necessarily creep aura, but like when you try to make yourself look like a creep.
The mustache could be so many different things though.
Yeah.
Because like when I'm lifting weights at the gym, I have a pump. I could be a firefighter.
Depends on how you dress.
Yeah. I look like I'm just a firefighter. Whereas I went to West Hollywood to my tanning salon. They're like, hey, Ernest. Like the super flamboyant people, they probably thought I'm one of them now, you know?
That's funny.
I have the bleached mustache. So I could be a creep. I could be a firefighter. Could be a could be so many different things. Yeah. But I actually ended up liking the look way more than I thought I would. And so I got so many compliments on the mustache. Like, when have you ever heard does anybody ever tell you nice beard?
Yeah, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody's ever told me nice beard.
I think it's because it's like red and it's different. But yeah, no, definitely mustaches get more comments than beards, usually.
Yeah, I had
if
multiple.
It's an actual good mustache.
That made me think, though. Are they being genuine with the compliments? Because when I dress up as Stephanie, and I go out in public to film.
People give you compliments?
They're like, oh my God, girl, you're looking great. God. That almost makes me actually feel bad for like trans people, just a little bit. Because I'm like, damn, imagine actually looking like this terrible. Like I purposely look terrible. And people are telling me, oh my God, you look great. Like that's like almost rubbing it in. So it made me wonder, like, did people actually think it's a good mustache? Or were they just like trying to...
Nah, I feel like that's a little bit different. I feel like it was a genuine compliment.
Yeah, I legit, the other day at the gym, I had a guy like staring me down almost. And I'm like, oh shit, is this going to be like one of those, oh, why'd you prank my wife? And then he comes up and he's like, hey, I just wanted to tell you, cool mustache, dude. So, yeah, I'm going to miss the stash. But who knows? I might go back to if these videos that we just filmed take off.
If it calls for it.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But first, let's address the last two episodes of the podcast. So, the last episode, we had Alex Rosen on. First guest.
Yeah, 100%.
Couldn't think of a better first guest. I just love how... At this point, he has zero fucks left to give. Like, he's legit uncancelable.
Alex is a legend, bro. I mean, honestly, he is a great example of somebody who started YouTube and had every difficulty along the way and kept grinding no matter what and ended up working out for him. And now he's uncancelable. Yeah. Nobody can fuck with him.
And he can...
Except for the people who actually fuck with him. Like, that's like who he, makes his content for. So he does it for them instead of for YouTube and whoever else. He built his platform. Yeah,
I just respect the hell out of him just being able to talk like a regular human. Because nowadays, cancel culture and the whole fucking virtue signaling and everybody having to be so correct and being offended and outraged by everything, it's like, holy fuck. Like, at a certain point, I can't even tell if people are being serious or is everybody just this much of a pussy nowadays?
A little bit of both.
Also, speaking of the last episode, we didn't smoke on the last episode out of respect to our guest because it would have been, kind of rude to just be blowing smoke in his face for an hour straight.
Yeah, he's sober.
Yeah, as he revealed, he's fully straight edge. But going forward, we're not going to be smoking at all.
Until we get like a ventilation system.
I don't know if that'll help. Because, bro, the episode before this one, you guys saw how many jump cuts there were. There was a fucking reason, bro. That was just like terrible.
He claims I got a little too high, but...
So the problem is, not only do you get high, and then you're just like inebriated and you're just sitting there like, but you get me high. You get me secondhand high, so I can't gather my thoughts and I'm just sitting there giggling. Yeah. And we've already had to throw 2 episodes out and redo them. And that one, I was like almost on the verge of redoing it. I mean, it was just good enough, just barely passable.
Mm-hmm.
But
honestly, though, out of 17 episodes, I feel like that's not terrible for how like strict you are on your videos, having to redo stuff.
Yeah, but every time it's because of the same reason. Because you just get too high and you get me too high, and it was legit starting to hurt the quality of the conversations.
I feel like the cigarette smoke affects me just as bad as the weed smoke.
The cigarette smoke doesn't make you retarded, though.
Yeah, but it still fucks with my throat and all that.
Your entire vocabulary in that episode was limited to yeah, really, and
You forgot one more. That's crazy.
That's crazy. It's like you're talking to like a bitch who won't shut the fuck up. You just can't wait for her to shut up.
That's like what you say to when someone's trying to tell you a story and you want to stop talking. Damn, that's crazy.
Really?
Like how many damn that's crazies till you have to stop talking.
Just staring off into space. No, the worst part is like at the end when somebody.
To be fair, it was a subject that I was trying to think of stuff to say, and I didn't really have much to say on.
I mean, I guess to be fair, you weren't there at the expo with me and D-Bob, like filming our video, so you didn't have too much input. But holy shit.
That explains the staring off into space. That was me trying to think.
Okay, but we're talking, like, you know.
I know, but I just didn't know much about the subject, so I'm trying to, like, picture it.
But it was way past that. I mean, at the end, somebody asked for the super thanks. If I think you have like the goal natural physique or whatever, and I'm just like hyping you up how Tanner, has the best physique and natural kid, and you're just like, oh, really? It's like, if you guys ever watched WWE in the Ruthless Aggression era,
you should do a Tanner character.
The tag team Jesse and Festus. Do you guys remember Festus with his tongue before the bell rang?
No.
That's how you work.
That's definitely not me.
No. Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm definitely not a mouth breather.
Yeah, but let's try to have some better vocabulary this episode.
All right.
People were saying you were cutting me off a lot, too.
Yeah, fuck you guys. You'll be all right. Square up.
Well, you do start doing that when you smoke a little too much.
Sometimes, yeah. Hey, I ain't perfect. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the best at speeches. I used to take speech class when I was in elementary school.
Well, I guess I'm not the best either. I do my long pauses. So I guess without the smoking, we'll find out.
Yeah, but you're like a lawyer.
But I'm like a lawyer. I can speak really good if I plan everything out that I'm going to say. I'm really bad at like talking on the spot and just thinking quick on my feet.
True.
So I guess we're going to find out. Was it the smoking that's the issue, or are we just actually retarded?
We'll see.
Or maybe we're just the most terrible podcast hosts.
I mean, honestly, we kind of been off subject this whole podcast. Maybe we are retarded. But that's how it be sometimes. It's a podcast.
I mean, speaking of podcasts, Ross Creations is going to be a guest. But what was his condition? He's going to be the fourth guest, or after we have four?
No, he said we have to have 4 guests, and then he'll be the 5th.
Okay, so this.
So we had 1, Alex Rosen. This is our 2nd guest.
Well, does Hugo count?
It's like a 4th of a guest.
Well, what is my cat? Is my cat a full guest?
Full guest, yeah.
Now she can be on here, now that we're not smoking?
2 1/4. Yeah.
All right, so I think you should do 10 push-ups for every really. Or,
That just seems like a lot, man.
I mean, you said you could do 2,000.
Have I said it yet?
222. Oh, that was like the first thing you said.
I didn't say I could. I said I would try.
I swear.
2,000?
The first thing you said on the podcast today was, yeah. Can you look for me?
Yeah. What's wrong with saying yeah?
Well, when it's
a pretty common word.
When it's that excessive, when that's like the only thing you say as a podcast host.
I just did chest. What was that? 2 days ago. I'm still sore.
All right, but I guess back to our world. We're gonna talk about my side of things first. So try to stay with us.
Oh really?
It's crazy. Yeah. So filming the Sir videos has been the most fun I've had in like a long time. I had way more fun than I ever imagined I would with this character. One of the best parts about it, and it's not even close to like the best parts, but what I really enjoyed about it is that, believe it or not, even dressed as Sir, you saw every single time I still got recognized like 2-3 times a day.
Shockingly.
Somehow,
I was pretty surprised by
with
that.
the disguise. So, just keeping that in mind, imagine how it is when I'm dressed as Vladimir out in public. Like, it's gotten to the point where it's like,
all right, boys can't do pranks anymore.
For real though, you would think I'm like fucking Jake Paul or somebody, like somebody of that level walking around in public, which it sounds crazy, but it's not a good thing, because if I actually had all of the other benefits of being somebody of that status, but it's literally only, it ruins the filming of the pranks, because everybody knows that it's a prank, and that just makes it a bunch of haha, what's your TikTok reactions, a bunch of, I go to do a scene and there's a bunch of kids standing around like this. So like it just ruins the whole thing. So one of the cool things about Sir was that I was kind of inconspicuous under the radar, like not as many people knew yet. So I didn't have to deal with the whole haha, what's your TikTok thing that I normally do.
It ruins a lot of the opportunities when we try to prank people. Like we could have had a banger ass scene and then one person is like, oh, you're that guy from TikTok.
Yeah, like when we were filming the Hugo translating video, the last one we tried to do, bro, it was...
Or honestly, what's even worse is when we hire people from Craigslist and then they recognize you. That's the worst. We always have to risk that every time we do a Craigslist video.
Yeah, when we were doing the audition video, we had that one guy. He didn't want to say the word, but you said he was looking at me like very suspiciously, and you were about to tell him. He was about to say it, and you were about to be like, "Don't fucking say it, just leave." And
then the one guy who actually did, and we couldn't even do the video. I had to fucking like completely switch up the video. And honestly, I feel like if you are a fan who happens to be in that situation, you should just go with it and be like, I pranked you guys. I knew you the whole time after or something. Or comment on the video and say like, I knew who you were the whole time. You know?
I mean, would that be a fake prank though? I guess if they went with it.
You.
Yeah, if they went with it and did something to like actually prank us, like that would be badass.
Yeah, and honestly, if they revealed it, I would probably include that in the video. Like, oh shit, apparently he pranked us.
Yeah, but for the most part, like that example at the Korean barbecue restaurant, when we went inside to eat and the scene seemed like it was about to go well, and then the guy comes up, he's like, oh, you're the guy from TikTok. Like, why the fuck? Now I have to go somewhere else. Because you just did that.
People don't think about it.
Yeah, so as Sir, that was just a cool little break from everybody interrupting and just being able to film without focusing on, do they know who I am, do they not, you know? And then, just this character is so good, man. I feel like people don't fully appreciate it yet.
It's just hilarious.
I feel like one day people are going to be like, bring back Sir. Like they are right now for William Higginbottom. There's just so much shit I didn't even get to do. I feel like there's the possibilities with Sir are endless. And what's crazy is the chain of events that led to this character is just so random. Like, how did we get to this UK Jeffrey Dahmer?
I don't know. I feel like it's just like the inside jokes that we make and shit. Just like imagine Sir doing this and then Sir ended up being like a fucking serial killer. Like just.
But like normally when I do characters, it's like based on somebody. Like even a lot of people are commenting like, who is this supposed to be? Who are you making fun of? Like of ourselves, I guess, of our own like fucked up imagination.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. It was just a complete made up character. Usually it's based off of somebody. Like even Big Red is based off my little brother.
Yeah. Even William Higginbottom is based on a real person.
Is it? Who?
My old roommate's ex-boyfriend.
For real?
For real. Yeah, so the way it started with Sir is it started with obviously the last second LA Fit Expo. I needed to think of a disguise, and I just thought of doing a UK character. And initially I was going to do the ginger, dye my mustache ginger and have the ginger wig. If I'd done that, we don't have the serial killer Sir because, well, it didn't work with the wig, with the ginger wig. It looked too Halloween, so I had to switch to blonde. And then when I do blonde, I'm like, oh shit, I look like Vernon Dursley from Harry Potter. Like, I just look like a creep now, like a legit creep. So that...
Just the whole outfit, too.
Put that idea... Well, the outfit, too, we weren't even initially going to do... I was just in the shower, and I'm like, okay, so this is a bodybuilding expo. What can I do, like, some random pranks? Oh, it would be funny to act like I'm a photographer. Like a creepy muscle worship type of person.
That's kind of how it started, based off of that scene. That's how we started to think of like the fucked up jokes, the photographer scene. We realized how funny it was.
Oh, it goes way before that. So like that's when I thought of getting the trench coat. When I thought of the photography thing, as I was just randomly showering one day. A lot of good ideas come to me just when I'm showering, and that's based off of that one guy too. Like remember the you a bodybuilder? That comes from that one. Remember the black muscle worship dude? Yeah. From the Olympia? Like, he goes up to me at every expo, even though I've met him like 10 different times. He's like, excuse me, are you a bodybuilder? I gotta put the clip here where I'm just like, no.
That's why you say that?
I'm not.
You're a bodybuilder too?
Huh?
You're a bodybuilder?
No. I'm not.
You a bodybuilder?
Are you a bodybuilder? That's where I got it from. I don't know why, it's so fucking creepy.
Yeah, and you ask people who are like not even a bodybuilder.
And just everybody, are you a bodybuilder?
You look quite magnificent.
Quite impressive. Yeah, initially the name was going to be George. It was just going to be George, because I have a friend from the UK named George. Then we just thought of Sir when D-Bob was here. And then the Liverpool thing, oh my God. So the reason I'm from Liverpool is because I just thought people are going to ask me, what part of the UK are you from? And if I say London, that just sounds Like I'm trying to think of something and that's the first thing I could think of. London, like that's just too obvious. So I'm like, what other cities do I know? I know Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool. Liverpool just sounds the funniest. So I'm like, okay, I'll do Liverpool. And
I've never even heard of that.
well, turns out, I didn't know this. This is the one fucking part of the UK where people don't speak like they're from the UK.
For real?
Yeah, they speak like they're Scottish, which the kilt would have made sense. That's like now we're going way off topic, but
So maybe all the people talking shit, saying the accent's not on point, don't really realize that.
what?
Because some of them say you don't have a good British accent, so maybe it's supposed to be a little different because you're from Liverpool.
It is from Liverpool. It's supposed to be like a Scottish accent. It's not even like a traditional UK accent. I didn't know this, but for fuck's sake, I'm so glad I went with Liverpool because all those comments, oh, that's not a proper ScOuSe accent. That doesn't even sound like Liverpool. Just feeding my fucking algorithm. Like that just made me think I should start doing things wrong, like on purpose.
Just to get more comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a strategy.
Like what's a good example?
Like when people make tutorial videos and like only wear one sock. Literally, like some random shit like that. Like they'll make some random video and they'll just wear one sock just to get more comments.
Well, I need to just like start calling things wrong, like on purpose. Like saying I'm from Liverpool, but speaking without the Liverpool accent. Like if I did Jason Blaha, Texas gentleman, and it was, I don't know, New Yorker. The people will be like, what the fuck? Nobody from New York acts like that. That's not a New York accent. That's Texas. What are you doing? And you know what I mean?
The wrong character.
Yeah, just to get those algorithm comments. Shit, like half the comments just
You
came
never
from
been
that.
to New York. I was trying to defend it.
And then the fucking serial killer shit. That was after like the first day at the expo. I was annoyed, like I usually am after the first day of the expo when I haven't finished the video yet. I'm like, fuck, like nobody's taking this seriously. And we were still talking to D-Bob in our British accents the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, D-Bob,
Can never stop.
I should tell them about the knife crime statistics in the UK. Maybe then they won't laugh at me. And then D-Bob was like sarcastically like saying what I should tell them. And that's just from there, like the fucked up jokes we made to each other. That's somehow turned into Sir.
At the expo.
Yeah, Sir becoming Jeffrey Dahmer out of nowhere. And man, there's so much other shit I wanted to do, like telling people I have alcohol at my flat.
Sir was just mad that nobody took him serious. He became a serial killer.
Yeah, that's his
Imagine
revenge arc.
a show for Sir like Dexter though. And that's what happens.
It all starts at the expo.
He comes here to the States and nobody takes him serious. So he's like, maybe if I start on the knife crime statistics.
Knife crime statistics. If I make my own knife crime statistics out in the States, maybe then they won't laugh at me. Will they? But I feel like Sir is already, his backstory goes deep. He's in the States for a reason. It seems like he's on the run or something. But yeah, man.
He just left town.
I feel like Sir is a super underappreciated character so far.
We'll see how the next video does too.
I mean, yeah, true. We did film one more video, Card Police, and we got some crazy fucking reactions in that one. That wasn't like a full Sir, though, because it wasn't like the whole photography thing. But man, there's just so much more I want to do a Sir. I just realized, even though I'm having so much fun with this, it's not all about having fun. Like, at the end of the day, I do have to do what gets the views, and that's why it's time to grow the beard back out, do some Vladimir bangers. You're getting off probation soon.
I feel like it's been so long since you've done a Vladimir video. How long has it been?
Well, we tried to do one right before the expo, which was a fail. The last successful one was the end of December.
Damn.
It's not even that long.
It's not that long, actually.
It's like
months.
just with everybody's TikTok brain, even us, like everything just moves so fast.
For sure.
Too much going on.
Too much going
like
on.
Cali Muscle said.
Too much going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, time does go by fast. The more the older you get, I feel like.
But just everything moves so fast, and we're always so busy with everything that it's just like you don't notice how fast time goes by. So that's my side of things. I really hope I get to do Sir again, and I hope the character gets the appreciation it deserves. And you know, the shit that I posted, those of you guys that think I took things too far, guess what? That's chopped up. I cut out so much shit. That's the like
Yeah,
PG YouTube version.
Yeah, you guys, you can't even put out the shit that...
Some of the shit I said is like, I'm watching it like, holy shit. Like, there's no way I can post this.
Yeah, it'll end up on wrong pages or something.
Yeah, which is fucked that you have to think about shit like that nowadays. Because I remember in 2021, bro, when we started filming together, like we were just like wilding out, like every week, straight savage shit. This is almost like back in those 2021 days where it's just like going all out. But it sucks that I even have to think about cutting certain stuff out because people are going to get too offended. It's just...
There's these armies of people who get offended, and there's
Right.
a bunch of fucking pussies.
There's channels who have whole channels based on getting offended.
Exposing people.
Yeah, and they send others to get offended. Like, oh my God. Seriously, just everybody getting offended at everything is a massive epidemic. Like I said, I can't tell if they're serious half the time.
Yeah, most of them probably just do it for content and for money because it gets views. And they know
But
how
even
to
the
do it.
people commenting that they're so outraged, like, are they actually?
Yeah, who are
They
these
can't-
people?
They can't.
Who are these people
How?
that are commenting? I want to see what they look like.
But that's my side of things. As far as how's things been going with you? You had your spar that you posted.
Yeah, we actually pulled up. I met this boxing promoter. Did we talk about it on here? The boxing promoter that I met?
Kind of.
Yeah, I just randomly met him. He was like recommended through a friend of mine, and he told me to come all the way down to Temecula because he had some bigger people that wanted to spar me. And we pulled up. We drove all the way over there, and he had this pro boxer who is 275 pounds. I think pretty damn near well, representation of big boy. Pretty close enough. I mean, I know big boy's like a little bit heavier, but he was a pro boxer. His record's like 2-2, so nothing crazy, but he's pretty experienced, and we sparred. And honestly, for not sparring or training for over 2 years, I'd say I felt pretty good overall. I was actually pretty happy with it. There's definitely obviously things I need to work on. I'm not gonna fucking say I'm ready for a 6-round boxing match or some shit, but main thing is just cardio and also converting, because I'm used to training Muay Thai. Like, that's what I've done. So I need to drop the Muay Thai habits. This is what the guy was telling me, and pick up more of the boxing habits. So obviously that just comes with training.
I mean, you stepped in there with a 275-pound pro, and this guy, he might not look 275 pounds, but his quads
I was
are
shocked.
retarded.
Even his calves.
That's one thing people don't understand. Like, people think I weigh way more than I do. I'm only about 230 pounds right now because I have such a big upper body and my legs are smaller. When somebody's bottom heavy, they don't look as heavy, but
The fact that he weighs 40 pounds more than you is crazy, actually. I didn't even think about it like that.
that's why I say it's fucking retarded to have big legs if it's just for visual purposes. Like, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah, and I could definitely feel his weight. Like, sparring, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever sparred a guy that heavy. I've rolled with people that heavy, like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, which is even harder probably. But I've sparred with people my weight and my height. But man, this guy was big as fuck, and I could feel him coming at me. So
Yeah.
it's
So
definitely
you can
something
tell
I'll
that
have to
guy's
get used to.
cardio's on point. That guy's in the WWE ID program. So he went to the same wrestling school I did. So if he's in that program, his cardio's obviously in tip-top shape, and he is a pro boxer. So I thought you shouldn't even upload any sparring footage because, I mean, you have a story of your friend not
Colin?
getting the upper hand against Jake Paul in a sparring match or something,
Right.
and Jake didn't want that footage out there, right?
Yeah, he was the only one who filmed it.
I mean, if you think about it, Mike Tyson has gotten beaten in spars. Like, that's the only way you get better is by sparring against opponents who are better, because how else would you improve? So I just feel like if there was footage of like Mike Tyson getting his ass beat in a spar, not that you did, but just not looking 100% perfect, there's just no point of uploading
honestly,
that footage.
Honestly, I completely agree with you. And I think the only reason I did is it's because my first sparring match being back. So people can just be like, okay, like this is like the base. But for when I'm training and like how much progress I'm going to make, the people aren't going to see that. I might show like combo training videos, but no more sparring matches, because people can literally watch your videos and study how you fight. I mean, that's what they do. Professional fighters, like leading up to a fight, you're going to watch every one of your opponent's fights and see exactly how he counters, what he does most, and you know how to beat him. So it's
That's a
definitely
good
not
point,
smart.
too.
Yeah, it's definitely not smart to post sparring matches.
Yeah, and that just opens the window for people to say dumb shit, you know? And obviously, if you got an opponent for an actual boxing match, you would take time to train like every fighter does before a fight. So it's not like you would be walking in like that. You would have had several months or whatever full of training. And the thing too with boxing footage, I thought it was bad with like lifting. Like, if you post a video of yourself lifting weights, there's always going to be somebody who knows everything in the comments, like picking apart every little thing. And it's usually like some fat shit, you know, talking out of his ass. And it's the same thing with boxing. Like, everybody knows everything about boxing. Everybody in the comments is an expert. So Yeah, if I were you, I wouldn't have even uploaded it. But, I mean, it's not like you look bad. I mean, you did pretty fucking good getting in there, you know, with a 275-pound pro.
Yeah.
For the first time in however many years. So,
especially like when it comes to sparring, like you guys got to understand it's a sparring match. It's not fighting. So even if it was fighting, it's a whole different level. And there's people who are better in sparring matches than they are fighting. And there's people who are better at fighting than they are sparring matches. And I'm 100% better at fighting because when I'm sparring, I don't know how to like tone it down. It's really hard for me to like tap. I always like end up doing like more and more. Like even if you notice us sparring, throughout the match, we kept hitting each other harder and harder because it's hard to just spar. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to like actually fight. But yeah, he fucked my jaw up too, though. Actually, he caught me a couple good times. My jaw was hurting for a couple days, but
that TB 500 though.
Yeah, that shit healed it fast, bro.
Yeah, I had the idea to give you a shot like as close as possible.
It worked.
In your delt, close to your jaw. And yeah, I told you.
Because that shit was pretty painful. It healed up within 30 hours of me taking that.
You told the guy, why aren't you hitting me? Hit me harder.
Yeah.
He popped you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so are you going to stick with it now going forward?
Yeah, 100%. The guy gave me a couple of numbers to call for some trainers that are closer to me because he's like 2.5 hours away, so I can't go there all the time. So I'm going to hit him up and join one of these gyms and just start training and just be ready. I just want to be ready. That way for when I find an opponent, I can actually go every single day and take it serious. I just want to at least go a few times a week, you know, just to be ready and in shape right now. And then when I get an opponent, it's going to be every single day.
Well, shit, how are you going to film at that point?
I mean, a fight is like a big investment. I feel like I probably would film less.
Well, yeah.
Just for the camp. It would be like a, you know, 3 or 4 month thing. And I would make content revolving around that, you know.
I know, that's why when people don't understand that there's really too much going on. Like Cali Muscle said, people ask me like, why don't you fight this guy? Why don't you fight that guy? And these are the same people who are like, oh, why don't you upload more? Like, there's only 24 hours in a day. People don't realize like our life already literally revolves around the content and just the whole production of it, the filming, the editing, and now the whole repurposing it on all the different platforms. Like it's a nonstop grind.
That shit made it a whole nother level. Having to post it on every platform, make reels, and make
it like the individual style for each platform. Like re-edit the video a million times over. Jesus fucking Christ.
That's crazy.
And you know, most people have a whole fucking team on that shit. Like we're literally doing all this on our own.
I just start delegating it.
I mean, how long have we been saying that?
It's gonna start with D-Bob.
For sure. But it's just like, it's still a grind, just the filming aspect of it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But how much easier would life be if literally
the thing is, even
our job was just to be an on-screen character and we don't have to worry about editing, all that bullshit.
It would be a lot easier. But the thing is, even once we do delegate it, in order to pay for that, in order to keep growing, we have to come up with new banger ideas. So we're going to have to work harder in other areas. We're going to have to put our effort. It's not like our effort is just going to be less. It's just going to have to be put in other areas.
Well, that's the whole
But it's going to be stuff that we actually want to do.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of delegating it, so that we can go harder.
Yeah.
So we can go harder in other areas. Like,
exactly.
So right now, I probably look like somebody who is a full-time editor. But just picture me with my beard the way I normally look.
You still don't look like a full-time editor. Definitely not.
Okay, so even right now, do I look like the type of dork who should be sitting at a computer fucking editing videos? Like, come on. Yeah, we seriously need to delegate that shit.
We edit way more than we film. Would you say so?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, people literally think that we just literally go fuck around and have fun. And that's
upload it.
It's so fun. I mean, honestly, filming Sir was pretty fucking fun. That's the most fun I've had in a long time. But even that, like even the most fun I could possibly have.
There is videos that are fun. There's times that are fun, but it's a grind.
Yeah, but even though it is fun, yeah, exactly, it's still a fucking grind. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. Smoke break?
Sure.
Too much going on.
Too much going on. Like nobody even, it was literally just us. Us, we're talking to him. Too much going on.
He has no idea what that truly means. Too much going on.
I mean, he does shit. He went broke.
Well, back in the day, maybe he had too much going on.
Yeah.
That's the next sign on the wall.
Too much going on. Are you serious?
That should be my voicemail.
What?
Can't pick up right now. Too much going on.
Too much going on. Can't pick up the phone. Too much going on. Just say, can't pick up the phone. Too much going on. That's it?
Yeah.
That's actually fire. Bro, could you use Cali Muscle's voice saying that?
Probably.
Bro, I would use that too. We should patent that and sell it as a voicemail. Don't forget that. It's the most important.
Drew just comes back.
Like, all right, we going again?
All right, so with our side quests out of the way, I guess let's talk about some current events. Too much going on this week. That's going to be our next sign.
Do people even know where that came from?
Cali Muscle?
Yeah, do we ever tell them?
I mean, hopefully they've seen the video. God damn, speaking of which, guys, if you haven't even seen the Sir videos that I'm talking about in this video, you're missing out. Check those out.
Yeah.
You're missing out on some fire content. But in current events, let's start with Wes Watson actually getting arrested. My prediction that I made when we talked about this prior, is he gonna get fucked for attacking the 7-foot monster? My prediction was he won't see the inside of a jail cell unless it's for a day until he gets bailed out, and that's basically what happened.
And the fact that he got bailed out means he's probably not on probation, so with his lawyers and shit, he'll probably be good.
I mean, people are literally acting like he just got sentenced to life in prison or some shit. Like, oh, finally he got what he deserved. Like, he's gonna be out in the morning. Like, do people not know how this works?
Never been arrested before.
But the one noteworthy thing about Wes Watson's arrest is that on his paperwork, apparently it said that he's 5'8", but he claims that he's 6 foot. So you already know there's only one person
There's an unanswered
who
question
can
here.
get to the bottom of that. It seems like an issue that's like made in heaven.
Needs to be resolved.
Yeah, we got to get to the bottom of this. But what do you think about that? Why did it say 5'8"?
Well, he claims because they go based off of what the cop guessed. They didn't actually measure him.
Every time I've gotten arrested, they just put the stats from my ID.
Do
My ID says 6'1". I'm lying on my ID. And they just write 6'1", 240 pounds, which is what it says on my ID.
So if they put what's on his ID, then that means it says 5'8" on his ID.
So that's what I would think, but then he's saying they just like eyeballed him. Which, don't get me wrong. Okay, so in Wes's defense...
Maybe he didn't have his ID on him.
But they can't pull it up? They wouldn't just look up his name?
I guess.
So I never even talked about this because it wasn't worth talking about, but there was this fucking weirdo at the expo. He comes up to me. He's literally, while I'm dressed as Sir, he's almost like Sir. He's like, hey, bro, I'm really talented at this. Like, you won't believe how good I am. I can tell. Like, I know you check people's heights and weights. I can tell anybody's height, anybody's weight just by looking at them. I'm like, sure, go for it. And he's like, all right, I'm looking at you. You're about 5'7". And I'm like, yeah.
Was he being serious?
I thought he was joking. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm waiting for him to laugh. He's like, yeah, really? You are? I'm like, well, obviously not. He's like, oh, well, I'm 6 foot and I'm looking down at you. And then I look at the footage because D-Bob films everything. I'm like towering over this guy. So it's like, what the... Well, I'm not towering over him, but I'm like clearly taller. So I don't know. Some people are, I guess, like delusional like that. I don't know if that's the word, but maybe the police looked at him like the same way that this guy looked at me.
It's definitely possible that the police just said what they guessed.
Yeah, but I guess in the end, there's only one way to find out.
What if the cop knew him and said to fuck with him? For real.
But that would be hilarious, actually.
5'8".
The cop wants to see this video, Wes being measured. But, oh yeah, by the way, the guy guessed my weight was 300, I think. So I'm 5'7", 300. That's like fucking morbidly obese.
Yeah. Or like Phil Heath, or like Jay Cutler or some shit, Prime Olympia.
I mean, I guess that is a compliment in a way. But I just, how do you say you have a talent for it and then be that off?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he was trolling or...
I thought he was, but he kept this going for like 10 minutes.
And he wasn't filming it?
I was looking around for cameras. I'm like, he has to be like... That's why like I laughed and like tried to play along, but I'm like he can't be serious right now. I had another situation recently at the gym. This fucking girl who I realized later was like tweaked out, but I put weights on the machine I'm about to use, and she comes like half a second later and just rips both off. And I literally did like a... And then I'm like, oh, fuck. I look upstairs, see, like, am I being filmed right now? I'm like, somebody, like, she has to be pranking me. But, like, no, she's just like a tweaker.
It was just like a tweaker, like on drugs, or just pissed?
No, she seemed like she was on drugs.
Did you take her machine or something?
Huh?
Did you take her machine?
No. Not that I know of. I literally just put the weights on. Then she, like, rips them off and puts them on her own machine. and I did one of these. Like, I would have, if it was a prank video, I would have gave her the perfect reaction. They could have, like, played music over it, zoomed in on my face. But then I'm like, as soon as I did that, I'm like, oh, fuck. I must be getting pranked. But I'm like, no. Some people actually
LA,
act like
bro.
we're doing prank videos.
LA and expos both. You find some weird people.
In other current events, shit, is that going to be the main title? Wes Watson getting arrested?
Possibly.
We talked about it for like 30 seconds. But what else is there to say?
Yeah, exactly. There's not really much else to say.
Wes just keeps on simulating the fucking economy.
He really does.
No, but it's crazy how, like for John Bravo, Wes literally just gives him material like every week. It's crazy how it just progressively gets...
It's a full-time job.
Like the Wes Watson saga just gets more and more interesting.
And it's always funny shit.
Like, where does it end? Like, it just gets like crazier and crazier.
I don't think it ever will for a long time.
So, yeah, in other news, Sam Sulek competed in bodybuilding. And that's news somehow. That's like blowing up.
It's the most relevant fitness topic.
Yeah. What do you think about Sam Sulek competing in bodybuilding and winning?
I think it was a
Not only his class,
smart move on his part.
but the overall. Well, you said it wasn't a smart move before.
Well, the fact that he won. Honestly, yeah. So I'll say this. Before, I was like, it's completely pointless because Sam Sulek is already so established and he could just come out with a product or start a company or a business. I'm sure he has the funds, hopefully, unless he got fucked over in his contract. But he still gets views. But the fact that he won, it like blew him up again and it made him like super relevant again. So now he should take this opportunity and start a business to where he doesn't have to fucking like, there's no reason for him to become Mr. Olympia or some shit, bro. Like that would just be...
Now, if he was to somehow be able to become like the next C-Bum and just win the Arnold, get his pro card, then win every Olympia from that point on and then retire and fade off into the sunset, maybe then it would make sense.
It's just a risk that I feel like is unnecessary.
Yeah, it's just such a pointless venture. So had he not won the show, then he would have... Because think about it, this is why I never liked competing when I had a fitness channel. Because he's the protagonist in his story that he's filming, that he's posting online. He's the main character, right? So to document him doing this prep, just to go and then get second place to some nobody who nobody's ever heard of, that's kind of like it's a weird ending. Like imagine watching a movie where you're rooting for like the main character and then he loses at the end. Like it's just what?
It doesn't make sense.
So then people would be leaving stupid comments like, oh, did you not diet hard enough? Like I thought you dieted hard. How could you get second place? Not knowing that like anybody can show up at these local shows and
There's a lot of fucking freaks who look insane that don't have a personality or don't have a following, but they're really good at competing.
Nobody understands how bodybuilding like truly works, and they shouldn't because it's such a gay, stupid endeavor. That, like, I'm glad nobody understands it, but like the average person, like they have no idea of how any of this works. So Sam competed because he paid $200 to compete like anybody could. Like you could have competed at the same show. It's so... People think, like, some people probably think he won the Olympia or something. Like, people legit have no understanding of how anything bodybuilding related works. So, like, you know how random NPCs come up, like to me at least, and ask, how much do I bench? And I could say 1,000 pounds.
You'd be like, oh
and
my
I'd
God.
be like, oh, hell yeah, keep it up.
Yeah.
Or I could say, I bench 300 pounds, and it'll be like, oh, hell yeah, keep it up. Like, they have no understanding of the difference.
For sure.
So when people ask, do you compete? It's even worse. Because, like, I've had a couple of those conversations where it's just like, what are we talking about here? Like, people come up, like some grandma asks me, do you compete? I'm like, oh, I used to. What did you get at your last show? I'm like, I got second. Oh, good for you. You keep it up. Like, it was just some... I could have gotten second out of 2, you know? Like, I got first out of 1 at the Muscle Beach show.
Really? Wait,
The one as Vladimir.
you were the only one that competed in that?
In the super heavyweight class.
Oh, that's
yeah.
hilarious. That's funny.
That's why I'm the World Muscle Beach
Yeah.
bodybuilding champion, because I got
Okay.
first out of 1. So when people ask me if I compete from now on, like grandmas and shit, I'm just going to start saying I'm Mr. Olympia. And they'll
Like,
be like,
oh, that's awesome.
keep it up.
Keep it up.
You look like you are. You look great. Yeah, so just like Sam's audience really doesn't even truly get what he's doing. And all that suffering, all that, like when you do a prep, like your whole life revolves around it. So I just feel like Sam could just be making such better use of his time. Like imagine that 3 months to starve himself if he like came out with, I don't know, supplement company or something. Like when he was with Hostile, they had the biggest fucking line at the Arnold by far. It was almost like Rich Piana level. Like imagine if he started his own fucking Hostile.
He definitely should. He needs to. Especially needs to take advantage of it now.
And we'll see how it goes for him at the Arnold if he does win and get his pro card. If
But since he did compete on a competitive level, how do you think he looked for his first show?
I think
how old is he?
23, 22, 23, I think, 24, I don't know. He's young, but I think he looks phenomenal. And that's another thing. Some people were apparently confused. I saw Kenny KO say this. Some people were confused that he looks different on stage than he does in his videos, in edited pictures. That's another thing about competing. When you're an online personality like Sam, when you're on stage, you actually look your worst.
Yeah, you're completely vulnerable to everything.
Yeah, you're out in the open. You have no control over the angles and shit. And if you don't completely nail your peak, of course, there's that. And then you're compared to other people, other irrelevant people. Like, why should Sam be compared to this gym bro? You know?
I heard you usually look better like a week after your show.
Oh, always.
Every
Every single time. Like when I was getting ready for the Olympia to go up to Mike O'Hearn, the game plan with my coach was literally, we don't want you to look emaciated, like you're starving, like you would at a bodybuilding show. We want you to look like a couple days after a bodybuilding show. So like that was the look we were going for. So that's literally, yeah, you look your best after a show usually. So what the fuck was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
Still about Sam Sulek, but
Well, I know that. There's the bestest face. I caught you.
I'm deep in thought.
I guess my final point is, I guess we'll see how Sam does at the Arnold. And I mean, I wish Sam all the best regardless, like whatever the best path is for him. I hope that's what he does, whether that's competing or not competing. But to the viewers watching this, Sam is literally like some sort of glitch in the Matrix. You guys got to realize. So let's be real. Sam does not put the most amount of effort into his videos. He films like it's fucking 2010.
He once made a video of him doing cardio for an hour.
I literally sent you that video because I was in awe.
How many views does that have?
Like 300K views. It's just him sitting on a bike, not saying a word, doing pedaling for an hour. Has like 300K views. So that's literally a glitch in the Matrix. And that's something, if you're trying to come up as a creator or in the fitness industry or whatever, you got to realize that there is a less than 0% chance that you're going to replicate that level of success with that level of effort. So if you want to achieve 1/20th of the success that Sam Sulek has achieved, understand that it's a glitch in the Matrix and accept it and realize you're going to have to work 20 times harder to achieve 1/20th of the level of success. That's like something we've realized in the prank scene. There's these, all the depression kids with the broccoli haircuts, seemingly putting in no effort in comparison and just blowing up like one after the other. And it's like, it just is what it is.
Sometimes it's just a glitch. Or sometimes maybe YouTube just picks people. I don't know. Can't explain it.
And yeah, in Sam's case,
that's definitely a glitch in the Matrix. 100%.
It's like inexplicable. But yeah, that's just a message to the people out there who try to replicate that. I've seen others with much smaller followings say things like, oh, well, it works for Sam, just being his true, authentic self. No, fuck, don't be your true, authentic self. Like, no. It worked for Sam, it's not going to work for you. Do anything, but especially if your authentic self is like Sam's authentic self, like, do anything but that.
Yeah, sometimes you can be your true, authentic self, but...
Yeah, you got to be a little more, entertaining.
You put in some effort. Just put in some effort. Just don't think you can take the easy route and actually, work fucking hard. Like, it's a grind, bro. Like, I don't think people realize how much of just how much work it takes to be a full-time content creator, unless you just get lucky. But yeah, it takes a lot more work. There's never clocking out.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we'll top it off by reading the super thanks that we got this week. As always, we read $5 and up super thanks, and this week we got a total of 2.
Let's fucking go.
We actually got 0 on the Alex Rosen podcast, but this is from the week before.
That's wild.
I did say on the Alex Rosen one that I would read them like a month later. I don't know why I said that, so that's possibly why. But yeah, $5 and up. Any question you have, any discussion you want to start, we'll answer it on here. So Enigma says, question for Eric. You mentioned that you used to follow Ian McCarthy and that you used his training methods. What are your thoughts on him and his methods now? I never really followed him, but he seems like a constantly depressed gay Redditor. Question for Tanner. Would you train boxing with Sam Hyde? And what are both of your thoughts on him? Also, I've got a video idea for you guys. You should go to the immigrant protests on the freeway as Chester Mitchell or Blaha to counter-protest or pretend to deport people, LMAO. This is the one time I think you'd get good reactions out of Mexicans. I used to follow Ian McCarthy and follow his training methods. What are your thoughts on him and his methods now? If you're asking about specifically his methods, so the 2 things Ian McCarthy was known for, since you don't know much about him,
I don't know.
He did the super slow, like Eric Janicki style training where if you're doing a fly, he would
Did he look good?
No, he looked terrible. That's what. But see, with Eric Janicki, it works. Yeah. But it's actually kind of crazy that Eric Janicki is, getting popular doing that style now. But yeah, I just don't understand how anybody could enjoy training like that. I don't know how effective it actually is. I feel like that's like I understand controlling your negatives. I feel like that's way to the extreme. I honestly think with training, it's really not that complicated. People should really just fucking train. I think
both methods honestly work.
I think the main thing, if you're training for specifically bodybuilding to look better, the main thing you have to focus on is not getting injured. This is one thing a lot of people fuck up. You don't want to be training like Ronnie Coleman, like Branch Warren, like you're training for the fucking Olympics. Because as soon as you tear something, like it's over. You just, everything you worked for, you regress all the way back. And then you have like an ugly like tear that just fucks up your whole physique. So the main thing is to make sure, like, it's really not that bodybuilding training is so simple. Like, just fucking lift weights. Like, holy fuck. You know what I mean?
Just train till failure and just time under tension. That's pretty much it.
So as far as the super slow training, one of the few things I actually enjoy is lifting. And that would take all the enjoyment out of it for me, personally.
I do it sometimes. Obviously, nowhere near like Eric Janicki. But I do slow controlled reps just because it feels good.
Oh, yeah. I mean... Okay, so for me, a slow controlled rep is like 1 to 2 seconds, bro. It's not like...
Yeah, like you just throw it in there sometimes. Right. No. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going like 15 seconds
I don't
down.
mean to be fucked up, but because it's Janicki, people are like, okay, there must be a reason why. Like when Ian McCarthy did it, because he wasn't jacked,
he got hate.
People literally thought he was disabled. Like some people thought he's doing this because he's disabled. That's why he's like, Okay, now Ian's other big method was the if it fits your macros. And you might be like, well, everybody does if it fits your macros.
I also feel like people like Eric Janicki really knows how to use the muscle that he's training. Maybe that other guy like just didn't know how to train it on. Even though he was going slow, he was still just like not, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Eric Janicki actually like, you can see him contracting his muscle, so it's still going to work.
From what I've heard too, Janicki plays it up for the camera.
Yeah, of course.
To get more comments, more engagement. Yeah.
100%, no doubt.
There's no way he does every set like that. And I've heard
it's
that
a smart strategy.
Now, if it fits your macros, you don't realize the significance of this because I remember when Ian initially called out the Hodge twins and he basically went at them hard. Like he called them a bunch of names because they still eat chicken and rice and you can eat Pop-Tarts and still look great. And everybody trashed him because he didn't have the physique to match it. But like a year later or 2 years later, like nowadays, bro, everybody does if it fits your macros. People sell fucking ebooks and shit explaining it. And it all, from what I remember, it all pretty much started with Ian McCarthy calling out the Hodge twins. So it's actually fucking crazy how it stemmed from that, like, you know? And now as far as where Ian is now, you know, Ian's always been very nice to me. He's always supported me in like everything I've done. So I'm not going to say anything negative about him. It is what it is. But as far as the depression stuff, I feel like he could definitely start consuming some better content, some more positive content, get around a better circle of friends, because that's definitely, you know, that's never good.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those things. Because, I mean, he works out and stuff, so, like, that's not it, right?
He's, like, on and off with working out from what I've seen.
Well, that doesn't help.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you're ever depressed, like,
the gym literally cures it.
That's the first thing you want to be doing.
Yeah, number one.
Question for Tanner. Would you train boxing with Sam Hyde? And what are both of your thoughts of him?
Who the fuck is Sam Hyde?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I only recognize the name because I know he has a podcast and he mentioned me one time. I still have not seen the clip of him mentioning me, by the way. But
no idea who Sam Hyde is.
Somebody commented in one of my lives. Yeah, Sam Hyde talked about you, but I can't even tell you what he looks like. Like, I don't.
Should we Google it?
I don't. We're not going to learn everything about it.
Would I box him? Yeah. The answer is yes.
Yeah, Tanner would box anybody.
Why not?
You guys haven't realized?
Yeah, why not?
Like, this is actually how Tanner is. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, you do not give a fuck.
No, I don't.
And the video idea for you guys, going to the immigrant protests on the freeway as Chester Blaha to counter protests or pretend to deport people. All right, so I think I'm really flattered, but I feel like sometimes people really overestimate how intimidating, I guess, or what kind of power I have. How do you picture me going by myself in front of 1,000 Mexicans getting them to believe that I'm about to deport them, and somehow having them all comply with me. Like, what, am I just going to come as Chester Mitchell on the freeway? They'll be like, oh, okay. Like, I'll walk off. Like,
plus, at the same time,
how do you think that's going to go, realistically?
This is Los Angeles, and the thing is, I bet cops aren't really super present during those protests. And, like, the motherfuckers will do some shit, bro. These Mexicans, they'll stab you.
Well, see, pranking groups in general, if you guys notice, I don't really prank groups of people too much, because the more people are in a group, the more likely somebody is to notice that it's a joke, notice the camera, whatever it is. All it takes is one person in the group to be like, oh, I'm not buying this. And now people are like fucking sheep. Now suddenly the whole group is like, you know, now the whole group doesn't believe it anymore. So how the fuck do you picture me pranking like a group of 1,000 people? Like how, just logistically, how would that
Even
work?
even Alex Rosen, he went to one of them and they were all just like swarming him.
Yeah.
He had to like scream over just to say something. They just start yelling. They start screaming like.
And again, that's the type of content Alex does is different from like the prank content we do. Like if I do a prank, I want them to believe that I'm the character that I am, to believe whatever joke I'm doing. Just going and screaming at them, it's like maybe like Fred Byers at Cray. Nothing against them, but that's just not the type of content I do. It's a good video for Fred though.
Yeah.
I would watch that video. If he went to the Mexican protest. And then second super chat, Valdemar Perez III. Love the podcast, guys. Always enjoy listening while at work or at the gym. Shit. Love you, Valdemar. Thank you for supporting, as always. Valdemar is still hitting the gym, doing what he said he's going to do.
Hell yeah, bro. Keep crushing it.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for this episode. So as always, leave your super things $5 and up. We'll answer them on the next episode. And until the next one, this was this even quick? I was going to say this was a quick one.
It's a normal length one.
This was a normal one. Until next time. I wanted to shave right before the podcast, so just to show how fast my beard grows. I anticipate I'll have a full beard by next week, but
You think so?
let's see how on point I am with that prediction. But all right, till next time, we're out of here.